particular motion logo honestly looks like geese leaving their poop behind them, like flying diarrhea dicks. Reading. Also, this font choice almost tricked me into thinking these were the opening credits and that the film was written and directed by the Republic formerly known as Zabrowka. Yep, it's a Wes Anderson movie. The statue where everyone leaves their keys is kind of a goldmine for burglars, no? I know better than to look for mistakes in the background of a Wes Anderson movie, so I'm sending his ass for taking away one of my favorite types of sins.
These stories will continue to... Stop it! Stop it! Don't do it!
Kids.
The incidents that follow were described to me exactly as I present them here.
Okay, we started with the girl in the book, then this is the guy on the back of the book about to take us into the actual movie, which is all in flashback apparently. If he goes one more level deep, we'll all be stuck in limbo.
It was off-season, and by that time decidedly out of fashion.
There is so much narration in this movie, I'm convinced it works as an audiobook. This hotel has a dentist on staff, or maybe the concierge just calls nearby dentists and books an appointment for you. But if that's the case, it's weird that dental work is really the only concierge service getting its own sign on the front desk. Also, this hotel is giving away chambermaids.
I had established a casual and bantering familiarity with the hotel's concierge.
Chekhov's Mannerist Habsburg High Renaissance Budapest Neo-Humanist painting. Both these paragraphs flow into the next column on the page, making this a very oddly shaped newspaper. Whatever happened between 1940 and 1950 to make Zero age from Tony Revolori to F. Murray Abraham?
Zero Mustafa had purchased and famously inhabited some of the most lavish castles and palazzos on the continent.
I absolutely understand why Wes Anderson's fans love his movies. I see the craftsmanship, but all the perfectly centered shots and poetic narration is just a lot. It's too much. It's like when I've eaten a steak with truffle butter and cheesy potatoes and shrimp, and then they offer me chocolate cake, and I'm like, I see why chocolate cake fans love it. I see the craftsmanship, but I think I'm gonna be sick.
The curtain rose on a parenthetical domestic drama, which required the immediate and complete attention of Monsieur Jean.
Something random and dramatic, but ultimately unimportant to the plot occurs in a Wes Anderson movie cliche.
Gespannt für ein Flitzebogen. That is, on the edge of my seat.
Thinking we wouldn't notice that you pulled that translation out of your Flitzebogen.
I know and admire your wonderful work.
Talking to people while both parties are bathing.
2 ducks roasted with olives.
Ordering for your dinner companion.
Well, it begins, as it must, with our mutual friend's predecessor.
Jason Schwartzman. Holy shit, he did it! Now we're in limbo, and we'll never get out of here short of lying on the train tracks. Delicious-looking breakfast goes untouched in this scene.
She was shaking like a shitting dog.
Do dogs typically shake when they shit? Because I've seen them squat, or even drag their butt along the ground, or even high-step like walking on broken glass. But I've never seen a dog shake while taking a shit. So you get a sin for your bad analogy.
Experience.
Hotel Kinski, kitchen boy, 6 months.
Pretending like people can walk and take notes like this at the same time. This duck.
He was, by the way, the most liberally perfumed man I had ever encountered.
Olfactory politics. Climbing into bed with a still-lit flame in the room.
I worked 6 days each week, plus a half-day Sunday.
That's called working 7 days a week.
Our meals were small but frequent, for stamina. 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and a late supper.
No 11sies? Get the f*** out of here with this half-assed Hobbit schedule.
Monsieur Gustave also delivered a nightly sermon.
Jesus Christ, there's also forced religion in the workplace?
Rudeness is merely the expression of fear.
He's not even preaching shit, that's true.
His own dinner he took alone in his room.
I've honestly forgotten who's even telling this story. This movie is obsessed with keys.
This was also when I met Agatha, but we won't discuss that.
Not sure why we needed a teaser right here. You're already committed to watching the movie. Can a movie be good and up its own ass? Discuss.
Oh, how the good die young.
Hey, that's what Billy Joel said.
She was dynamite in the sack, by the way.
She was 84, Monsieur Gustave.
Both the kissing and the telling.
When you're young, it's all fillet steak, but as the years go by, you have to move on to the cheaper cuts, which is fine with me because I like those. More flavorful, or so they say.
Are we still talking about meat? Were we ever?
You can't arrest him simply because he's a bloody immigrant.
Welcome to America. The cat, wolf, possum emblem on this hat.
I know exactly who you are. It's uncanny.
A rose by any other name would smell just as convenient. The camera captures everything everywhere, all at right angles for all to some time. Kissing a corpse.
That's
The short of it is, this guy is a piece of shit, but that tonal shift wrapped in a hate bow fits with the rest of the film like a ghost pepper in a cucumber sandwich. As he steals this boy with apple painting, I have to wonder why the angry son or the psychopathic brother, who definitely doesn't care about committing crimes, didn't immediately come to this room and steal this painting right after the confrontation. Serge hides this letter and the painting under the guise of keeping it safe, but other than keeping the suspense going, there is very little reason for him not to give it to Gustav right now. This is a nice sight gag, but why did he knock on this giant door instead of the regular-sized door next to it? What sort of prison sets out glasses of water for visitors and prisoners like this?
Take extra special care of every little bitty bit of it, as if I were watching over you like a hawk with a horsewhip in its talons, because I am.
There are parts of this movie where I'd rather be at the dentist. Also, being an ineffective hypothetical hawk because you've chosen to occupy your talons with a horsewhip instead of using them as talons. How did he get a cushy job like gruel delivery when he's so new to prison? Rolling right past this open cell without asking this guy if he wants mush. Your hospitality is slipping, Gustav.
We think you're a real straight fellow.
Well, I've never been accused of that before.
This movie is overly concerned with Gustav's sexuality. These amazing blueprints were apparently hand-drawn by a prison gang member, and I'm just saying, that guy should drop out of the gang and start an Etsy page.
On our third formal rendezvous, I had asked for her hand in marriage, and she had agreed.
Moving too fast. But also, kids. Also, banging in the balcony without thinking about the attendant who has to clean up after you.
She's my girlfriend. You can't just buy her things.
Gustav seems like a dickhead. Maybe that's the point, but the movie is incredibly cutesy if this guy is a dickhead is its true purpose.
Not only was Agatha immensely skilled with a palette knife and a buttercream flourish,
Agatha bakes these tools into pastries to get them into prison, and it works because they are too beautiful to be damaged, and that is all the bullshit. Also, who sets up this conveyor with individual weapons for each food item, and who thinks this is more effective than the first person just cutting into the food themselves?
Something's missing. A crucial document. Either misplaced or conceivably destroyed. I don't know what it contains. I don't know what it represents. I don't know what it is. But there are traces and shadows of it everywhere.
No one is the least bit curious about what traces and shadows of a document are. The family of the deceased is trying to pressure the lawyer to hurry up the inheritance proceedings, but have any of them even noticed the boy with apple painting that is worth so much money is missing? Kovacs doesn't go full John Wick after his cat gets murdered right in front of him. This isn't a pick up your bag of dead kitty and sulk on the way home situation. You become vengeance, motherfucker. You movie for deciding we need to see the splatted dead cat. God damn. I really wish the movie would explicitly tell me the adult ages of these two.
Go to sleep.
Yes, Herr Mendel.
What is her relationship to Herr Mendel? She works at his shop and apparently sleeps above it, and he checks on her nighttime bedroom? He better be her father, or this is all sorts of out of line. Why would they have issued him a coat check ticket for his dead cat and printed deceased on it? He didn't check the cat like a coat. That thing was up in his room. Thinking that a museum at closing time is not a nice, quiet place to be murdered. Feels like they stretched a short film to feature length by making it 90% people walking through weird rooms. This is too much light for a window at night. Having an elevator down into the prison levels is an idea that should have been shot down on conception. It's hard to see in 4:3, but this ladder is hanging in front of this door and probably multiple others. At best, this is just inconvenient nonsense. At worst, it's a fire hazard. I feel comfortable sitting either one. God! This guy's only an asshole so that Scarface can have his moment and Gustav can feel good about giving him mush that one time. Why do all the guards sleep in the same room? Going through the guard bunk room works. Any guard that was hired for this job that sleeps through this event should be stoned. This movie is Paddington 2, but with no bears and no marmalade. This movie about a hotel is now a movie about a prison break, with a late-appearing teen romance popping in here and there. And I have viewer whiplash. Steam vent magically becomes laundry chute.
No safe house? Really? We're completely on our own out here?
Haven't you kind of always been?
I owe you my life.
You owe your life to several people at this point, if we're being honest.
We're gonna strip search every pretzel house.
That can't be legal. But also, why are you strip searching people when you are looking for two human beings?
What are you doing here? Civilian personnel aren't permitted in the cell block.
Thinking that pointing out how strange it is that he got this far into the prison will stop me from adding sins for it.
Mendel's.
Tasting a random cream you found on the floor of a prison.
It goes without saying you must never breathe a word about this to a living soul. Do you swear?
I do f***ing not! I'm gonna tell everyone about this meandering, pointless, speed-infused adventure of a shit show.
I'm formally calling upon the special services of...
As the movie montaged its way through an overly stylized game of telephone, I began to realize that the Society of the Cross Keys does actually seem like something straight out of John Wick. And John Wick just happened to be released 7 months after the Grand Budapest Hotel. This is to say again that the two movies are in no way related outside of my mind, and I'm still stuck on that. But also, are they activating a dormant network of concierges? Is this ultimately a superhero movie about the concierges banded together? Because that would be rad, and you could have made bank just by selling the movie on this concept from the get-go.
Take over.
This poor f***er's heart failure is not only played for laughs, but also is apparently less important than the passing on of the urgent concierge information. Disrespecting a billiards table to further telegraph your villainy. That felt as sacred, you asshole. This painting is just begging for an everything wrong with Boy with Apple, and I'm willing to oblige. Johann von Heutel the Younger said, "Give the kid an apple. This way he looks like even more of a Czech Mannerist, Habsburg High Renaissance, Budapest neo-humanist style asshole. Nailing a tiny note into a concrete wall for reasons. Why did this codpiece have to go so hard?"
Apple juice flood.
Aaron?
Apple. Of course it depends.
Of course it depends. Of course it depends.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Of course it depends.
Of course, it depends.
I must say, I find that girl utterly delightful. Flat as a board.
Fucking what? The sheer amount of newspapers in this film. Gah! Reading! Also, this headline fake out absolutely trying to get us to think Agatha just bought the farm.
Where's the basket?
Skipping ahead. October 1st, 1932 was Saturday. Why doesn't the calendar of the fictional world line up with mine? How am I supposed to even relate to the movie now? Wes? Brass skulkers.
Where you headed, mister?
Really glad we got this pivotal scene of Bob from the Zero Theorem pumping gas.
Are you Monsieur Gustave of the Grand Budapest Hotel in Nebelspot?
This is the third monk to say this shit, and the second time repetition has been passed off as comedy.
Bloody hell, they've strangled the poor slop.
When the did that happen? He went silent well before any strangling. Did he get stabbed? Did Joplin tweak one of his nuts? How the hell does that happen with absolutely no sound? Sledding away from this door should have led you right into that wall.
Let's stop! I can't! I can barely steer!
Saying this before turning multiple times. It's funny, even when he makes a live-action film, Wes Anderson still manages to do some stop-motion scenes. Oh hey, it's an Owen Wilson cameo. Wow. Somehow writing this forward and backward at the same time just to f with me.
You think that girl's got my picture? Excuse me.
The timing of this arrival has been optimized for maximum tension.
You haven't been trained properly, Otto.
Zero knows Agatha's in danger right now.
I'm gonna blast your candy ass once and for all right now.
I'm gonna blast your candy ass.
Drop your weapon!
It's hilarious that they shoot everything and hit no one. It's also dumb. I mean, stormtrooper-ish. Ah, the letter you probably forgot about has returned. How very Hudsuckerian.
Are you alright?
I think so.
You shouldn't be. Not with all the corners of these boxes intact.
This very institution, the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Roll credits. Getting married on a Nope Tower. This silly-looking Dr. Seussian pastry that everyone thinks is the greatest thing in the world.
In the end, they shot him, so it all went to me.
This character in the movie seems as disappointed with this anticlimactic ending as I am. I see they managed to jolt us all back to the original level and they didn't even need a kick.
You're waiting for a train.
The scent announced his approach from a great distance and lingered for many minutes after he was gone.
Thought I smelled cabbage.
Doubt can be a bond as powerful and sustaining as certainty.
I think that we should allow our magnificent, glorious dinosaurs to be taken out by the volcano.
Excuse me, Mr. Knuckles? Yes?
I just wondered if I could have a quick word about the food.
Feel terror cloud your senses. Feel its power to distort.
Hey, I think somebody just shot a torpedo at us.
You'll need more space than that. Ping pong, or, as the Chinese say, ping pong.